So the song we're learning this week is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It is another nursery rhyme, but I promise you it's the last one. We won't be learning any more nursery rhymes after this. This song is perfect for using the notes that we've learned today. G in the left hand through to G in the right hand. And we're going to be switching between hands as we play, which is a really tough thing to do. It's a real skill, and for many people it's going to take time. But let's take a look. So these are the 8 notes we've just learned on the stave, G to G, and we're going to learn how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star because it's nice and recognisable. So I'm going to go through line 1 with you. There are 4 lines and I want you to have a go at lines 2, 3 and 4 on your own. So looking at line 1, the first thing you need to do is glance over your sheet music and make sure you understand what's going on. There is a symbol on here we haven't spoken about yet, and that is these 4 symbols, and they are called rests, and they mean that your hand pauses when you see them. I am going to be explaining rests in more depth in a later lesson, but for now just be aware of what they are and then don't worry too much about them. We have our treble clef stave. Any notes we see on this stave will be played with our right hand. Our bass clef stave, any notes on this stave will be played with our left hand. We also have our time signature, and for now we're interested in the top number, which tells us how many beats are in a bar. So we have 4 beats in a bar. There are 3 bars in each line in this piece of music. And lastly, we have a few numbers. Now these are fingering suggestions. When you play any music, you don't have to follow the fingering suggestions. You can play with whatever fingers you like. But for now, I would suggest that you do follow them because it's probably the easiest way to play the piece. Now we did speak about fingering positions in the first lesson. If you've forgotten, the thumbs are number 1, index fingers are number 2, middle fingers number 3, ring fingers number 4 and little fingers number 5. So if we take a look at the first bar in line 1, our first note here, hopefully you will know, is a G. But if you can't remember, no worries, take a look at the diagram that you've hopefully printed out and you can see that that top space in the bass clef stave is indeed a G. Now the second beat in this bar is another G, and then we move up into the treble clef. So now we're playing with our right hand, and the bottom space there just below the stave is a D. If you take a look at the diagram, you can see the D there. The music is suggesting you play it with your number 2 finger of your right hand, which is your index finger. And beat 4 is another D. So we move on to bar 2. The first note is the bottom line. Take a look at your diagram, you can see that's an E. And beat 2 is another E, and then beat 3 moves down to the D. And again, look at your diagram, you'll see that space below the treble clef stave is a D. Now this note is a half note, and that's worth 2 beats. So you'll be holding that down for 2 beats. Moving on to bar 3. We have a middle C here. Now we know it's a middle C because it's the note in between the staves and it has a little line through it. Now you can see it's on the bass clef because its stem is going down over the bass clef, so you'll be playing it with the thumb of your left hand. But if you take a look at your diagram, you can see the difference between the middle Cs on the treble clef and the bass clef, but it is of course the same note. Now beat 2 of our third bar is another middle C, and beat 3 and 4 you're just coming down to the B, as you can see on your diagram. And that's the end of the first line. Now some people will want to pause here and just practice this line, and that's fine. Please pause the video and do that. But if you want to carry on, I'll bring line 2 up, and I'm not going to go through this. I want you to give it a go on your own. So pause the video, give it a go, and when you come back, I'll go through the notes. Okay, so the first note of line 2 was in the bass clef, and it was an A. The second beat is also an A, and then you move down to the G, which is a half note, so you hold that for 2 beats. Bar 2, we're starting in the treble clef, so it'll be your right hand and you're on a D, followed by another D, moving down to middle C with your right hand. The last bar, we move down to the bass clef again. So we're on a B, followed by another B, and then it finishes on an A. And we hold that for 2 beats because it's a half note. Hopefully you smashed that, no problems. If you didn't, don't worry. The more you go through it, the more you'll remember what all these notes are. So lines 3 and 4, I'm going to leave you to go through again on your own. If you're confident with this, then please do stop the video here and just follow the song practice that I've attached to this lesson and try and do it daily. If you do want to go through the notes to make sure you've got them right, then I'll carry on now. So line 3, we're starting off in the treble clef, so we'll be in our right hand and we're on a D. We have a second D, then a middle C, and then another middle C. The next bar, we come down into the bass clef, so now we're on our left hand. You're playing a B. You can use any finger, but I would use your index finger. We have another B, and then we come down to an A. It's a half note, so you hold it for 2 beats. Bar 3, we have a G in our left hand, followed by another G, and then we come up to our treble clef, so we're in the right hand and we're on a D, followed by another D. And our last line of music, line 4, we start in the treble clef and we're on an E. I would play this with your middle finger, your 3 finger, followed by another E, and then it comes down to a D. It's a half note, so you hold it for 2 beats. The next bar starts on a middle C, and this is a middle C in the bass clef, so you'll be using your left hand. I would use your thumb. Followed by another middle C, and then you come down to a B, followed by another B, and then the very last bar of the whole song starts on an A in your left hand because we're on the bass clef, followed by another A, and then we end on the G, which is half note, so you hold it for 2 beats. Excellent, so that's the whole song learned. What you need to do now is go through it line by line and just keep practicing this. And here are the note names if you'd like to practice it on your own with the note names. But I'd recommend really trying to play these songs without having the note names in front of you. The best way to do that is to get your fingers in the right position. So have your thumb hovering over the C and then fan your fingers out. So then you shouldn't have to move your fingers while you're playing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So happy practicing this week with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Some of you would have sailed through that no problem at all, but a lot of my students really struggle with their first song being played by sight reading when they're using both hands. And if this is you, it will just take time. You can get the note stickers to put on your keys to help you remember what the notes are, or you just have to stop and bring yourself back to middle C to then work out where you're going. Or what you can do is print out the PDF of the song and actually work all the notes out and write them on the top. I still do this now with some music that has a lot of difficult notes on it. So please feel free to do that, and that will really help you as well. But again, the more you practice, the easier it's going to get. And also, for those of you that want a bit more practice, you've now learned 8 notes on the piano. So you could go onto the internet and find a nice, easy beginner's piano book that will have a lot more choice of songs in. And you can get some as well that have the note written in on there as well, so it's easier to follow. So do have a look on the internet and you can find yourself a nice, easy piano songbook for beginners and start to use this repertoire of notes in your playing. Follow the practice plan. You've got your scales work, your song work, and the 5 days of exercises as well. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson, and I look forward to seeing you in lesson 5, which is the end of the module, and you'll be playing with both hands together, doing different things while sight reading.